in trying to figure out where to start from so I don't lose everyone in the first 30 seconds, I show a stack of books over here for history because the problem I have is you cannot fix something as long as you deny that it exists. Racism, slavery. You can't fix it if you deny that it did not exist. And if you do not understand the impact that it still have on generations, because success, wealth, positive attitude, the whole 9 yards is cumulative. Those who start out with more of those things that helps to make you more successful stay ahead. So there's a photo. You see that photo? There's a photo in the beginning of hundreds, literally, of books on history that says slavery happened. It's also clear that it was not just all black folk. And then we go over and over the rationalization that Africans sold Africans and that part of history. I'm skipping through, and I would love not to say etc., but I'm going to have to, because if I hold your attention for 5 minutes, I'm lucky. So some things I'm going to have to say etc., because I'm just going to have to assume somehow you know some stuff. So I needed to give that first. And some things I'm going to say before anyone jumps ahead. Believe me, I am not having my black card decline. I am not doing that. So don't even think that from anything that I might say. Sometimes some things might seem, well, why it might seem like I am in denial. It is not. It is because black folk who know anything about history know a lot about our history. There's a lot, obviously, that we as black people don't even know about our history. But the attention that I need to get I need to get a lot of attention from those who are not black to understand. Now, you see all those books over there. There must be hundreds of them. And a lot of the information that I'm going to talk about in the future and now is going to come from somewhere in that history. There's many over there, 90% I would say, or by black authors. Yet someone will say, I chose White Trash, which is by a white author. That's for a reason. Because first of all, I do know something about human nature. I really do. And the way people think. And even to show the impact of racism, if I quoted a black author, I would lose a lot of people right there, because they're going to say, oh, he's black and he wrote it to slant it toward their cause. So I choose, guess what? A white author. Now, I didn't just choose any white author, but this is a very good book, and she summarizes things extremely well, because I can't expect anyone to read all of those books over there. They're actually not all books from my collection. They're books from my friend's collection who has read all of those. I have not, but I've read many of them, let's put it that way. But I chose this because it summarizes 400 years of the untold history of class in America. And I thought if I could get a significant number of people to even read that, because it's very clear. It's a very, very, very good summary. And I'm trying really hard to be objective, because that's something I've learned. And I have to say, I really hadn't thought as hard about this up until Trump was elected. And then I had friends who anyway, there were people who were more on his side than I could understand why they were there. Even my friend, all of these history books, everything he's read, he voted for Trump. He's a black guy, a black man at that. So I needed to try to understand what would make you do that. Now, with all of the history and with all of the things that is going on, even he acknowledges that Trump is very similar to the president Andrew Jackson. There's an Andrew Johnson and Andrew Jackson, so you don't want to get them confused. However, he's still, however you want to call it, he thought he was the best choice. So I needed to really kind of understand that and understand, black people that voted for Trump. I just didn't get it. I still don't get it. However, what I try to do throughout this entire broadcast is not agree. I don't agree with it. I would never agree with it, and that's another kind of talk show. But to try to understand how they got there. And I think that's one of the things that if we can do that, it will make the division less. We may not agree with the other person, but sometimes we can see how they got there. And what I have learned about seeing how someone gets to a certain place, it's almost useless, because they're not going to change that opinion no matter how many facts you give, no matter what they say. They're not going to change that. That's where they are. And I had to accept I'm the same way. You're not going to make me feel any different about this. I don't care. I will be objective. Like, we were having a conversation the other day, and it was a middle-aged black lady, and she says, well, you got to give credit where credit is due. The Social Security that people receive have increased every year since Trump was in office. It did not increase while Obama was in office. Well, I had to research that because I did not know that. And I said, oh, okay. So that was a fact, and it was a point. It did not change my mind about other things in terms of President Trump. Now, my friend, who is the black man who voted for Trump, should not have his black card decline. Here's the reason. His idea, because he knows so much about history, is not one of integration. Okay. He is of the opinion that the only way the black race will rise is to, basically what it means is go back to having your own currency circulate among your own people. That is one of the rare places where we disagree because of something I'm going to talk about later that's called a coup. And the coup controls all of us. That and if the best way to say it used to say the man. Well, the man doesn't really make that much sense because it just doesn't make that much sense. So the coup is an achieved. I looked up the definition, and let me just have. Well, Google had several, and they were not giving me the one that I wanted for this particular broadcast, so I could not have it quoted. Let me just pause this for a minute.